Tell me more English.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our brand new show, Tell Me More English, the podcast where we get curious about life and learn English along the way. My name is Alex.
And hello from me, Maya. We are so excited to start this new adventure with all of you. Our goal is simple: have real conversations that are fun and easy to understand.
Exactly. And today we are talking about something that is both exciting and a little scary. We are talking about the first time you travel alone.
Ooh, that's a big topic. I remember my first solo trip. I had a mix of feelings. I was super excited, but also very, very nervous. Is that normal?
I think it's completely normal. On one hand, you think of freedom, adventure, and discovering new places. On the other hand, you think, what if I get lost? What if I feel lonely?
Yes, all those questions. It's a really important experience in a person's life, I think. You learn so much about the world, but more importantly, you learn so much about yourself.
You are absolutely right. You discover a new version of you. The you that has to solve problems, the you that has to talk to strangers, the you that is in charge of everything.
It's true. Before my first solo trip, I always thought I was a very shy person. I thought I needed someone with me to feel confident.
And what did you discover?
I discovered that I am much braver than I thought, but we can talk about my story later. I want to hear your story first, Alex. Tell me more about your first time traveling alone. Where did you go?
It's a funny story, actually. My first solo trip was a weekend trip to a big city just a few hours from my hometown. I wanted to start with something small. I didn't go to another country.
That sounds like a smart plan. A small adventure to start.
Yes, that was the idea. I booked a small hotel room, I packed my bag, and I felt like a great explorer. I planned everything. I had a list of museums to visit, parks to see, and restaurants to try.
You were very organized.
I thought I was, but I learned a very important lesson on the very first day.
What was the lesson?
The lesson was, plans are good, but reality is often different. And sometimes the mistakes are the best part of the story.
Mistakes are the best part of the story. I love that. Okay, tell me more. What was the mistake you made?
All right, so my plan for the first evening was to go to a very famous traditional restaurant. I read online that it had the best food in the city. I was so excited. I got dressed, I left my hotel, and I put the restaurant's address into the map on my phone.
Okay, sounds like a good plan so far. Very normal.
Yes, the map said it was a 20-minute walk, so I started walking. The city was beautiful at night, the buildings had lights, people were laughing. I was feeling great. I was a real solo traveler.
I can imagine that feeling. It's a mix of freedom and excitement.
Exactly. So I followed the map. I turned left, I turned right, I crossed a big street. But after 30 minutes, I was in a very quiet, dark area. There were no restaurants, there were no people. It was just small houses.
Oh no, you were lost.
I was completely lost. My phone's battery was low, and I was getting hungry. For a moment, I felt a little panic. I thought, this was a bad idea. I should be at home.
That is a very common feeling when things go wrong. What did you do?
I took a deep breath. I told myself, okay, Alex, don't panic. You are an adult. You can solve this. I saw a small corner store that was still open. It was the only light on the street.
And you went inside?
Yes. I went in and talked to the old man working there. My pronunciation was probably terrible, but I tried my best. I showed him the name of the restaurant on my phone. He looked at me, he laughed, and then he said something that I will never forget.
What did he say?
He said, "You are on the wrong street. This is East Park Street. You want West Park Street. It's on the other side of the city.
Oh no, you walked in the complete opposite direction.
For 30 minutes. But the man was so kind. He explained that a taxi would be expensive. He told me, there is a small family restaurant just 2 blocks from here. It's my favorite. The food is simple, but it's real. It's better than that famous place.
And did you go?
I did. And he was right. It was a tiny place with just 3 tables. I had the most delicious meal of my life. I was the only tourist there. That night, I learned that the best experiences are often not on the map. And I also learned to always check if it's East or West Street.
That is a wonderful story, Alex. It started with a mistake, but it ended with a unique and authentic experience. And you had to be brave to ask for help.
Exactly. It was a small step, but it felt huge at the time. Okay, now it's your turn. You said you discovered you were braver than you thought. Tell me more.
My story is a little different. My first solo trip was to a small town by the sea. I love the ocean, and I wanted a relaxing vacation. My plan was to read books on the beach all day.
That sounds like a perfect plan. No chance of getting lost on a beach.
You would think so. The first 2 days were perfect. Sun, sand, and books. But on the 3rd day, there was a huge storm. The biggest storm in years, the local people said. The rain was heavy, the wind was strong, and the electricity in the whole town went out.
Wow, so you were alone in a small town with no electricity.
Yes. At first, I was scared. It was dark, my phone was almost out of battery, and I was in a small guest house by myself. The old Maya would have stayed in her room, feeling sad and scared.
But what did the new, brave Maya do?
Well, the owner of the guest house, an old woman named Elena, had a lot of candles. She lit them all in the common area. It looked beautiful and cozy. She invited me and the other 2 guests to sit with her.
So you were not completely alone.
No, and this is the part where I surprised myself. Instead of being shy, I started the conversation. I asked Elena about her life in the town. I asked the other guests where they were from. I was so curious about them.
What did you talk about?
We talked for hours. Elena told us stories about the town when she was a little girl. The other guests were a young couple from Japan, and we talked about our different cultures. We couldn't use our phones. We couldn't watch TV. We just talked. We shared stories by candlelight.
That sounds like a scene from a movie. It's beautiful.
It was. I discovered that I love connecting with people, and I learned that I don't need a plan to have a good time. Sometimes a storm can bring something wonderful that you didn't expect. I wasn't shy Maya anymore. I was Maya, the person who makes friends in the dark.
I love that. So we both learned important lessons. I learned that it's okay to get lost. And you learned that you are brave and can connect with anyone.
Exactly. Traveling alone is not about being lonely. It's about finding yourself and discovering how strong you can be.
I couldn't agree more. And that is our important topic for today. We hope our stories have inspired you.
Thank you so much for listening to Tell Me More English. Join us next time for another curious conversation.
Until then, have a great week, and don't be afraid to make a few mistakes. Bye for now.